most. I think Cubo and Zap have had a relatively quiet set so far. This has largely just been like Scary D, Paul, and Neil Maul. I want to see Zap and Cubo play with a little bit more patience.
At this point, it nearly worked for you there in game
Yeah,
4.
it's all good, Evans. I understand. I know times are crazy right now. People got a lot going on. It's all good. Yeah, they're gonna run back the same bands.
I don't know what I'm changing if I'm PK here. Honestly, no individual pick outside of maybe the Cullen.
Yeah, no, I don't expect these bands to change a whole lot.
This has been tearing us apart this set. It's been
the real question is if PK places the same. I think they still have to take the Cullen, honestly. I don't think they can afford to let Cullen go. Final K is just done too much with the Cullen. I mean, probably in a mirror ban. Yeah, so they're not going to ban Scylla again. But I think PK... I mean, this could be a big brain play from Ghost if they actually prioritize Picket for Twig.
There are no Paul bans here for Ghost Gaming.
I don't know, we'll see.
Weird world where Ghost are leaving some of these picks open that we know Paul likes to play.
Yeah, I think Raw probably has the next best contest.
Of the tournament, Scylla's been this big pick, and
Raw's got an insane ult secure.
All these other picks are still on the table. He loves Hebo, he loves Morgan.
Will Jorge make a return? Yeah, I'm gonna be playing on my Smurf before I play on my main account, just because I know rank's gonna be a shit show.
Incredible, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. You know what? I actually don't hate this. I feel like Panda Cat's actually been a problem with the keeping. And anytime Panda Cat actually gets to follow up, PK starts to lose.
Yeah. I feel like every game that PK has won, Ghost hasn't had Cupid, right?
Yeah. Panda Cat, like, whenever Panda Cat can't participate in the team fight, I think, is when it works out best, because the one thing that's been hurting Ghost the most is that they haven't really had a whole lot of consistent follow-up from Twig and Sam. Like, that last game was probably Sam's best-looking game so far. Wow, the ROM.
At least, you know, the hell was getting banned. Aphrodite was something that I had to write down because it's in their top picks. They played it so much. And granted, Paul himself didn't look necessarily great on it. You don't look good when you play Aphrodite. You make other people look good. And he did exactly
No
that.
way, he goes Morgan.
You come into this, and like you had said, Dave, now we're looking at the same 6.
Dude, imagine if Paul just has to... I guarantee you Paul's never going to touch Scylla again after today.
But the change up is
that Mori pickup, though, is huge.
For the Knights, alongside the Morrigan that comes through. And I want to highlight a game from yesterday. Paul, they end up losing it, but Paul switches into some of the Warriors. I mean, he has a great game against Radiance on this Morgan. Mifflin, it feels like, again, another solid pick. And like you said, late game for him.
Wow. What did they get? Double Cthulhu ults.
It's gonna be 2 of them. Descent into Madness times.
This is a good draft. This draft is so good.
Ghost is like, fuck.
Be able to blow it out of the water, but outside of that, it's still, you need to make it to that late game team fight. You need to make it to the point where you're able to group up as 5. Ghost Gaming has bringing the fight to him, PK that is, so early on, and already there's that micro matchup.
Well, they're definitely not going to go Fenrir.
He's able to rotate into the mid lane.
I don't think they can afford to.
With the ventilate ability, should be able to chase down the Morgan incredibly easily.
Poseidon, Rom being locked
I don't think they're going to try to take away the Kama. I mean, I would like to see Humbats, personally. I want to see a Humbats pick from PK. I feel like that's their best bet right now.
Jukes that way!
Yo, Evans, appreciate you with that 3 months and running. Welcome back to the Keto family, aka the Otter Posse. Happy to have you here this today for real. Thank you so much for the love. Yeah, they're gonna get rid of the Fenrir because why not? They have the leisure of banning it in the 4th, 5th. That's a great adjustment from PK. Force Mike onto something different. That Morgan pick scares anybody, I think, is cool. Especially when there's a Cthulhu Cupid behind it. Poseidon, I don't know. We'll see what happens here. I think they took the Poseidon for Objective Confirm and for Cripple Effect. I don't know. And a Nemesis ban, that's smart. They banned Robin, smart. Not a surprise. I'm going to be so sad if they don't pick Humbats here on PK. I feel like it's so good with their comp.
Panda Cat's got a lot of weight to pull here on this pick, and he has the ability
oh yeah, that's
because we've seen him on this pick.
I guess I should have
Well,
expected
you wanna
Ghost to
talk
take it.
about bans. Tsukuyomi, Raven, clean out the rest there for Ghost. Their final bans.
I think, wait,
of the
Ghost have
World
to take the
Championship. On
Humbats,
the
don't
other
they? Because they
side
can't
is
afford to let
Fenrir
PK get
and
both
Nemesis.
Cthulhu and
The
Humbats.
only thing I think that could get, I can
It's
hear
still
the crowd
dangerous,
screaming,
just
and
because
we
there's a
might not be in
Morrigan,
front
but
of
like
them,
having
I
a
can
double
hear it
monkey ult's definitely a lot
loudly
less
for
scary
a
than just like
signature
one
pick
monkey
here,
ult
Mifflin.
against
This
you.
Humbats from Sam for Soccer, it's something you gotta be scared of.
It's huge for this team fight. The Morgan gets slams by
Double
Fear No Evil so
Camazotz.
easily. And take a peek at the bans across the board. Robin, Tsukuyomi, as you already highlighted. Nemesis taken away by PK themselves. That essentially forces Cubo Fred's hand. He has to go back to the Camazotz. We got to see it once already in this set. It didn't look good. 3,300 damage.
Ah, there's the Kuzin.
He's gonna have a pretty hard time dealing
Oh
with
my
this
god,
ghost
Neil's
trap.
busting it out.
Disengage through Fear No Evil.
Neil is
Rom
busting
able to
that
disengage
bad boy
himself, and
out.
Dave
It's
has
going to be
already
such a
highlighted by
nightmare
using
for
the
Poseidon,
Astral
Rom,
Rod,
I think.
even
That's what
Cucullin.
I wanted
called
to
it.
see. Yeah, I wanted that Kuzin so bad.
Gaming, they might just do it, man. Already with this core 4, this might be reverse sweep
Smart
territory.
Kepri, though.
I heard that list
Smart
you
Kepri
guys
pickup.
and suspiciously missed
But
some
there is a
in
lot
that.
of
You
CC,
mentioned
though.
Cucullin, Rom, and Humbats, but
Alright, I'll be
is
right back. I
Cubo
use the
taking
bathroom.
this to try and
I
sit
got
on
I got a
top
pee
of
chat,
Poseidon?
and I don't want to have to get up during the game, so be right back.
Can bully out the bat out of hell if you're worried about the Kraken coming through immediately, even if you're inside of the Whirlpool. If you've got fast enough reactions, you're going to be able to avoid it every single time. But it's so hard to get to the Cucullin, or the Poseidon rather, in the back through this entire roster. And if that was the strategy, if you're looking to shut down Poseidon, Ghost Gaming, as if they're listening to you, Goremizer, lock in the Kepri in that very last slot. If that's the easiest target, that means it's the only target that needs to get Scarab's blessings.
And Dave, this Kepri pick, as much as I want to go back and talk about this Kuzenbo for Neil, I think we can pause, put that in a little box, and go to this Kepri now. It's one of the biggest things we got to see during the wildcards. During Phase 2 playoffs, he was pretty big. He's been oddly devoid of this. I know I can guarantee Auburn right now is spamming in chat because the
Game
hug bug
5
was just
finals,
locked in
right?
for the last game of the World Championship. But that Mifflin highlighted,
Incredible.
it's so good. It's so powerful here.
So stifling in a lot of these fights as well. I mean, when PK are having to scrap for every individual kill that they've gotten throughout this set, now giving Mike the opportunity to take one more away from PK when they're able to find one. Talk about a mental check in this game where PK are potentially going to find a pick. Morgan wraps around. I mean, all these scenarios where Mike can lock down PK and their ability to find these individual picks. It's an awesome pick, I think, here from Mike, because not only do you have the ultimate, you have the ability to keep these team fights in your corner by saving someone on your team. It's an awesome ultimate. You're not sacrificing some of that early aggression that Mike.
Man, I really want to see what happens here.
It's not the same as some of those
I think both
really
these teams
in-your-face
have really
support
solid
picks, but
drafts.
A root and an abduct can set up for the rest of your team just as well.
Now you're coming into this.
I think both
like
these
you said,
teams
root, abduct,
have really
great
good drafts.
setup, the save
I can see
is
the win
going to come
conditions
in
on
the
both
form of
sides.
that
I think
insane
outright,
But Mifflin, I'm looking at
PK
Cthulhu,
has
I'm
the
looking
stronger
at
draft.
Kuzenbo. Honestly, I'm looking at
But
Morgan,
I
I'm
don't
looking at
think
Ghost.
that
There's
that
a lot
means
of
that Ghost has a
initiators on
weak
this
draft.
team.
I think
Cthulhu
that
and Kuzenbo
it's
really
just
sitting at the
whichever
forefront
team
of
can
it.
play to
They're
their
difficult to
strengths
deal with.
better.
And there's not really direct
That's really all it
counters
comes
to
down
deal
to.
with that Cthulhu plus the Morgan Cthulhu that can come out.
There isn't on the other side, but even then, it's just a dive-centric composition from PK. Cthulhu, Camazotz, Kuzenbo, and you know what? We don't have to call it the Morgan. We'll call it Cthulhu 2, because that's more than likely what we're going to see come late game. All Ghost Gaming has to do is survive that initial engagement, make it through the double descent into madness, and then all of a sudden this entire
No, sometimes
track of
my
PK
cam cuts
starts to
out
fall apart ever so slowly.
for
Right now, it's
whatever
gonna come
reason.
down
My
to
cam just
Cubo
like when I
Fred
stand
in
up,
the
sometimes
early
it like
game, making sure that
unfocuses.
Paul gets a lead. If
Watch.
Paul's able to get a lead in the early, he's all
See?
of a sudden got the ability to one-shot
This is
just
it's
about
dark,
anyone.
so
Then
it's just
Scarab's
like
blessing a lot
easy for
easier
it to be
place,
thrown out of
but
focus.
even then, who's been getting the
Here
every
it
single
goes,
game?
dude. It
It's
all
Ghost
comes
Gaming.
down to
That's
this.
scary to think about, guys, but
Legit.
we're going into game number 5. Can the Knights go back to back, or can Ghost break this curse? Let's find out.
Thank you on the desk one last time as we move into our game 5 of the finals. And Aggro, 2 players are doing an about face as far as I'm concerned in their play style. First, Paul, after 4 games in a row on Scylla, switching over to this Morgan. And then Mike, after how good the Finra has looked, how polar opposite is Kepri from that?
Polar opposite, but
Two
still
nays.
signature pick
It's
for
your
both
best
of these
day
guys.
ever,
I
Tyreek.
like the adjustment from both. I love
Actually, your
PK
best day
going
ever.
away from the Scylla, which is a psychotic thing to say when you consider the first 2
Right.
games of this set that somehow PK would get to a point where not picking Scylla when
You
it's
know, I am
open
amazed though that
is
Paul
the
got
right
more
call,
again.
but Ghost has demonstrated that they figured it out. So it's time to
It's
switch
been
it up.
open for a while.
These
Throughout the
first three
series,
games
it's been
were
pretty much open.
They
spooky
banned it in the
if you're
early
on
games.
Ghost side, because
I'm pretty sure.
Morgan plus Cthulhu
I think they
all
banned it
Maybe
like
one
either game
game.
1 or
awfully
2.
strong, but
They banned it in one of
maybe.
I
them.
was looking at what I was thinking Mike
I don't
could
know.
pick.
I'm just thinking about
I'm
double
thinking,
Cthulhu
okay,
ult.
something that he can
I
go
feel like
Sunder
that's all
on.
that's going to
what
happen
you
with
want
this Mori
against
pick.
the Cthulhu, so you can at least maybe take
Or
care
double
of one
Camazotz.
very, very quickly. And Khepri is the god that he usually goes Sunder on because it's so easy to set up for it. You've got the Abduct, you've got that Solar Flare, you've got ranged CC, and
Yeah, they also had to go
get
Sunder,
rid
otherwise they're literally
of
never
that
going to
dive
kill any of the
potential
front line.
onto at least one of the members of Ghost. This is a heavy dive.
Paul's
towards
going to sit
composition
Camazotz. I
of
wouldn't
the
be
Pittsburgh
surprised.
Knights. Ghost
Paul
Gaming
can
have gotta
definitely play
find a way
Camazotz.
to either group up on the retreat together and not get picked apart by all of the space that Pittsburgh Knights can create with this composition, or they have to find a way to surge forward, to push through and not be intimidated by what you're going to see coming from this Morgan.
And I really like, as a critical piece of that, Fino K back on this Cullen. This has bounced back and forth between him and Scary. And I feel like the guy that's had it has kind of been in the driver's seat.
Dude,
having it. They
Scary
had
just got
the
him. Oh
chance
my god.
to be the aggressor,
I
to
thought Scary got
dominate
himself
the game
soloed
and
for a
move
second
out
there.
with that strong pick.
No bullshit.
I love seeing this.
Chu wasn't level 2 yet.
Yeah, no, that's the
Gonna
thing. I
have
thought
their
he was
work
about to
cut
hit
out for them
2 a
here in
lot
this one.
sooner.
What a way for this
Like, I really thought he was
finals
dead
game.
there.
We
You think the
approaching
Kuzumbo's got enough
the end. We
CC
shall be
to
crowning
stop the Khepri?
a new champ before too long here at this point. Can you imagine the pressure, Asher? I mean, I don't even think that I can.
No.
Right? There's something
And
so far beyond.
Kuzin's kit
driving
really
the force
shines
of the
like
game.
mid-late
This
game.
locks
when he
down
can
Neil,
use this
even
too.
just the Sunder,
Yeah.
not enough to take him down there.
No, truly not even close. I thought Neil was in much more danger in that situation.
It's like nice
Neil,
because
understanding his situation,
Poseidon,
is A-okay.
Khepri,
We're
Rama,
kinda taking for granted
all those
just how
characters just like
impossible it
really
is to reverse sweep
stack
because we've seen
Kuzin's too, so he
PK do
gets
it 2
cooldowns
years in a row.
faster.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh, well, now
Yeah,
we're
it's
back
really
to
going to be
2-2.
down to
That
how
means that
well
it's
Neil can, like,
automatically Ghost, right?
micromanage that.
It really hasn't been. There have
Khepri
been
2ing you
tons
is
of
like,
situations where teams have come back from 2-0 down and then still lost here in Game 5. The mental strength that it takes to be that locked in with that much pressure on you this entire time is really, really hard to understate. I think the Pittsburgh Knights are a team that has
I feel like
proven to
everybody's
me
just holding
that
their
no
breath
amount
watching
of
this set.
mental pressure or mental damage can be enough for me to sway how they feel.
Oh
So
my
against other
god, dude,
teams,
they're really going to
I think
invade
they'd
it.
really be feeling the pressure. Now, that they're in a
Disgusting.
reverse sweep territory, not
He's
PK.
still in
Don't
hog.
stress about them at all.
No, this is a team that could hold on.
Yo, they stealing our strats now. Just saying.
Oh,
Holding the hog till the first respawn.
You were close.
The Morgan's
Pretty much
a
the
great
same.
place to put it. There.
Yeah, that's a play with Kuzin
Yo,
because you can triple balance clear
Evans.
on both camps.
Appreciate you with that hundo biddies, by the way. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the love and that resale love.
Perhaps a lot of pressure on Sam with that Fear No Evil.
First thing that pops off the board at me here is that Fred has gone Blink up against a Hunbat and a Khepri and a Poseidon.
No beads, yeah.
That has not been typical for him. And so that signals to me that PK is coming in and has talked about not giving up in the early game, not conceding our buffs, because otherwise we're going to end up falling too far behind and this team fight composition is never going to materialize. That's interesting to me, that clearly some sort of decision has taken place, whether that's Fred internally all by himself, or that Pittsburgh Knights have said, hey, we need you to be more active in the early game, because we didn't really get a chance to see very much from that Nemesis at all in game number 4. We didn't get to see him do anything on the Camazotz game number 3 because Sam was all over his buffs. I think that that's something to keep an eye on. Is Fred going to be aggressive with this Blink, or will Ghost Gaming be the ones to go, oh, hey, one abduct and Fred is toast?
And you got to think Twig's going to be a big part of Fred's target selection, right? He wants this Poseidon done with. And putting Twig on this pick, what a call in this last 5th game, because it's so binary when you're playing Poseidon. Either you hit that Kraken or
I
you
feel
did
like
not, right? Or
these
you found
guys,
the
like,
right
right
role
around
in
the,
this
like,
team fight,
15-minute
locked down a
mark,
couple
when you start
games,
seeing the team
or
fights
you did
happen,
the Twig's
you're going to start seeing them, like, just doing the ASD, 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 ASD. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when their cams start, like, getting all shaky and shit like that. Because they're clearly, like, a
Fingers
little
gotta keep
nervous.
moving.
Yeah.
While you're right,
Like,
that it is very binary in terms of its team fight performance.
man.
It's important in terms of what it brings to your team
What?
composition.
Neil with the blink in. Mike has been grabbed
I think
into
he
the
might
field
be
of love. Mark on there
toast.
as well. Twig providing a
no.
little bit of peel, and Mike makes that a trouble on that one. That is the blink down for Neil, as well as the ultimate down for Zapman, and Mike escapes successfully. Now, fine, okay, put a bit of pressure on the Scary.
And losing that Descent into Madness means that this could open up a buff invade. Look at where Sam is headed. He was going for his blue. Now, Scary D, half HP, no ultimate. See if we can get there in time.
Glad maybe that they didn't, with Paul lying in wait. Would have been a difficult fight with all three of them there. And Ghost end up picking the best.
I mean, Neil had the right idea. Kill the Kepri before he is level 5, but
maybe we might see the Knights looking a bit more aggressive in
just
the
didn't
early.
have enough
How about
time.
Neil and Zap looking for maybe a pick on the mic, just roaming the jungle.
They just did not have enough time.
It doesn't work out, but that's okay. It doesn't cost you that much,
Right.
as long as Panda Cat's not going to be the aggressor in this lane. But here's a hint: he's not going to be the aggressor in this lane. Rom versus Cupid is one that we've seen a lot this year.
Yep.
And it's always been that Rom ends up just being there to tread water and then outperform in the later stages of the game. When I think of hunters that can take down Cthulhu, I think of Rom near the top. Big attack speed steroid. You're not missing those autos on a target that big, and he's just going to chunk through that HP pool late game. Plus that Sunder coming from Polar Bear Mike. I think Ghost Gaming have really come away with an excellent draft, and really more than anything else, I'm a sucker for clutch players on clutch gods, and that feels like the case for Sam on the Hunbats.
Yes, Sam's got to find some really big fear no evils in this one. Imagine in a late game team fight, if Sam gets to Paul and maybe the never even goes off, imagine how much that could turn the tide of a fight. If he's able to find the big one on his Zap or Cubo. And
If you're asking for respawn times on buffs, yes, it's 2 minutes.
In the midst of this dive, maybe it's hard to affect these Cthulhu.
Fire, I mean, not fire, red, blue, and speed buff, even purple buff, it's all 2 minutes.
Anyone else that you want besides the world's MVP making those big moments for
Yeah, change my hair, change my room.
Hunbats is a character
You know,
that's been around
it's been a heck of a couple years, Evans.
Juvo has been long touted as one of the best Hunbats players in the worlds. Of course, we think of a
How is Scary D ahead in XP?
Cherio and
He's getting
and
pressured
Anderson
constantly.
and Gars. Yeah. For my money, Sam's the best to ever touch it. He has been dominant on this pick in his career, and he just makes it look easy on this pick. And that's what I love, man. It's like watching Emily.
I just had like all black hair, and now I've got like all this, you know,
nothing feels more right
peach blonde, like a giant foxtail behind me. So much hair, man. I need to shave my head.
Putting Hunbats in Sam's hands in a clutch situation makes sense to me.
Oh! Oh! Wow, is he really still alive? He lived for way too long, in my opinion. Wow, dude. If anybody's there.
No cigar there on getting the kill after the fact, but Mike is in no
That's so
man's
tough.
land. He walked in between
There's
the
no way he's
towers,
not dead, dude.
expecting an invade on the other side.
Dude.
No chance he wants to, right?
No, they're willing to dive. The shot for Paul, the dive never even comes up.
Paul's not
as
letting
he
that go
hits
for
the
free.
fadeaway.
Yeah, that just can't happen though for Mike in that
Really
situation.
tough.
I mean, you set up a great play. I think Mike was assuming that there'd be a heavier rotation coming over to that right-hand side, and he was trying to get there to support, but he got caught in between, and if that happens, then you've got absolutely nowhere to go. Bad mistake coming from Polar Bear.
Yeah, dude, it's so weird seeing like Scary with a little like level lead. It's kind of crazy.
That zero is up there in this moment, right?
Yeah.
We peak here, the last team in the world whose head you're getting into from what we've seen, but still, it can weigh on you a bit when the other team's hitting their shots and you're not. So getting that free pick on the mic, even used the Scarab's Blessing, which kind of turned into a good idea, right? He almost made it out of there, maybe a little bit, but still, I mean, you get a good amount out of that if you're Knights. You definitely do not go find OK getting way ahead or Sam in that solo lane, but getting something back from Mike is nice.
And that's the thing that I want to see here from Fine, is that when we've seen him on this Kakullen, they have used it to garner right-side pressure really, really effectively in every single game, even in the games they lost with this Kakullen.
Yeah.
Fine has been able to dominate this solo lane, and immediately he's doing it again, going to proxy early on in the game, already has a talisman of energy as his
Sorry, Chad, I'm
option.
trying to fix my Y key.
Magical defense because he
Trying to
assumes
fix my Y
Paul
key. It's like a
is
little
wanting
bit,
to probably rotate
pushed
over at
in.
the exact same
I might need to
time.
get like an actual
Right
keycap
side
thing to lift it up.
pressure has been achieved already for Ghost Gaming.
Sam's here again, pushing Scary D out. So that fine OK can strip away this blue buff. Start to get a little bit of farm started here for him. They do.
Who the fuck jukes that way?
Hey!
This is what
Yo! Thank you so much for the love. Appreciate you, Otis. Happy to have you back with us here today in Taquito Family, aka the Otter Posse. 14 months and running T3 self-love support. Otis, thank you so much, for real. Appreciate the love.
That's why I think that this blink on the Camazotz is interesting to me. That feels more like Pittsburgh Knights wanting to get a little bit more aggressive. And so far, it's mattered Exactly 0, because
And we're
Cubo
close
is
to it
not
There it
now,
is.
right?
Perfect.
Right, he's 2 levels away
Fixed
from
it.
having speeds anyways, where he would have been picking up that blink. But this is what I
Nice.
wanted to see: is Cubo gonna come over?
Maybe the
Get
soda?
that
Nah,
blink?
nah,
And
nah.
this time you
It was
don't
just
have
being
beads.
weird.
What a decision from Cubo Fred. He gets out
Oh,
of the
man,
battle,
he
but
might...
Final K
Ooh,
is on the
he's still
warpath.
dead.
Sam
He
comes
can't blink.
underneath to look to lock
He doesn't
him
have
down.
blink.
Still has
Oh!
blink, but Cubo Fred with the counter blink.
No.
Smash puts him down, and Sam
Messed that
takes the
up.
back. Meanwhile, Final
Messed
K
that up.
winning the battle up against Scary and Mike and Twig surviving. What a play in solo.
This right side of the map is becoming a problem already for Ghost Gaming.
This is what I was saying. Like, this is why I wanted them to take the Kukulin again. But...
Going well, but Mike again nearly gets caught in mid.
But...
Gets there and punishes Mike.
Well...
Doing a good job. But Dodge goes into the Kraken, taking the opportunity if it's there. I love it.
Mike still has ult though, so it's not even like...
Absolutely, you get beads and ult for just your ult cooldown. Sign
not much they
me
could do.
You've got at least 10%.
Yeah, no,
CDR
Cuba had
with the
nowhere
beads
left to run.
blessing.
He was so screwed.
Pittsburgh Knights have not
I think he
looked
could have maybe gotten out if
in this game
he...
for the pressure that Ghost is gonna
I don't
bring.
know, actually.
It hasn't been a secret.
I think they're
When
going to
they
dive that
lock in this
forever.
Cucullin, you know
They
that
were probably
they're
going to
gonna
commit
be
to
on
that
right
dive
side of the map.
regardless.
They're picking pressure mages to match it so that you can't just walk out of mid and beat him there either.
Cubo Fred coming
Oh,
in
this could be
test.
big, though.
Ghost get the pyromancer. Looks at
Cuba
the
looks like he
with
wants to
the
keep
live
going.
spell. Twig takes such a greedy path, and Quig on the world stage. But in comes the Scarab's blessing. Twig
That's a good force out,
survives,
though.
and that's Paul's ultimate on
That's
Cubo.
about what we were
There,
expecting,
Mike, in
though.
the right spot at the
They
right
might go
time.
gold,
So big time.
honestly.
You are right, because that was
Yeah, I was about to say, this is going
greedy
to be a
passing
gold pool.
coming from Twig.
100%.
Yeah, that was scary. That he was
I
going
don't know
that
about
way,
this,
but
though.
even
This
that
looks
makes
kind
it
of
easier.
sus,
Twig forced back
honestly.
to base. Scary
They're
needs
going to have to
go.
all-in commit to
Final K
this.
here as well.
If
Sam
they
with
steal
the
it...
but the snipes are
Okay.
there. The Knights confirm it. Great job.
Nah,
And in
Kivo's...
comes Final
Somebody's
K
dying.
looking for a punish. He is pushing into enemy territory, but the blink from Neil gets him out of danger. The Knights find a big
Oh
answer
my
with
god,
that
dude, they're
tier
going to kill
one.
Zap.
Caught in no man's land. Fields of Love is up. Uses it to buy him space. Dashes through. Nice play. Coming from
He just
Zap.
rolled on through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was the play.
I
They're
think
just going to
so.
take left for free,
Handicap
though.
knows he
So
has
that's
the
an
pressure.
immediate
That
response
tower
for the
is down,
gold.
and Mike is preventing
And some
anyone
map
from
pressure
stepping
opened
The
up.
left side tier 1 tower gone. That right one on its last leg. Ghoster opening up the map more than the Knights. The Knights are finding ways back in, yes, but it's nowhere near as strong as this affirmative action from
Kivo
Ghost
just needs to
setting
farm.
him up.
They are posing all of the questions. The
Yep.
Pittsburgh Knights have had very, very few answers so far. Sam's on his way over to the right-hand side, knowing that Fred might stick around, and Blink Fear No Evil is up for Sam. He's got that Hydra's Star, so close to the Hydra's Lament. He's got plenty of damage in the bank already.
Still no beads yet for Cubo Fred. He has not yet taken that level 12 back, so he still has...
I think if Cuvo doesn't start pulling Scare's Blessing, like the revive, before team fights, PK are going to have a real tough time here. I think Cuvo has to step it up and actually force out that Kepri ult and not die.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
That's the only way. I mean, Camazotz can do it, though. Camazotz can, like, commit. This is awkward, though. Yeah. This is so awkward, though. Like, they're committing so much, dude. Their target focus is getting sloppy as hell.
How about a second Twig on the run, but Paul's on different targets. Everyone is gonna live from Ghost.
And Final K almost catches up to Cubo Fred. Mike and Twig make it out. My goodness, Ghosts are not shying away from the big Mike.
I'd rather see double Camazotz ult there.
Back to back to back. I want this tier 1 and I want it now.
I think with double Camo ult, they close that. Dude, damn. That punish collapse. This is huge from PK. Or Ghost. Pittsburgh has to do something to shut it down. They have to do something to shut it down. Ghost is just taking way too much of the map control right now off of this Kukulin. Did I call it? I mean, it's not over by any means. I think the Morrigan transformations and the target focus has been very sloppy. Like, Cuvo's trying to force stuff with, like, negative mana, you know? He's got enough mana for, like, 2-3 abilities tops. So he's got to be a lot more consistent with his target focus. He's going for the guy that has a Kepri ult on him. Like, at that point, you've got to just hard disengage the target. Got to just hard disengage that target there. I mean, I think maybe he thought that he timed it right, but that was still just like a risky one.
on the fly. Can they do it? Can they hold on the way they typically
Because
do?
you know that Poseidon's 1
4,000
HP.
goal here.
He's a
15
guaranteed
minutes
kill if
or
you just
closer
walk
to
away
3,
from
I
him.
suppose.
I think
Still
he's
a
honestly a guaranteed
massive
kill if
lead
you just keep
for the
walking
Ghost
away from
Gaming
him.
Squad. The good news here for the Pittsburgh Knights is that the experience deficit is not what it has been.
Yeah, the
during
experience
some of
deficit's
these
only
leagues.
between
Mike,
the
once
supports.
again, very far ahead of Neil. That's been a
That's
storyline
literally the
all
only
day so far
big
here today in the
experience
finals. 3
deficit.
levels
Like,
up
even
there
Scary's
for
not
Mike,
that far
but the rest
behind.
of the map, despite
And I think
losing
that's
all this
problematic for
pressure
Ghost.
and losing their towers,
Because
they're
Paul's just going to
not
become
falling
more and
too
more
far
threatening as
behind,
time
and that
goes
means
on.
that Pittsburgh Knights have opportunities
But
in
yeah,
order
Ghost
to
have
come
just
back.
done a
Don't
great
forget
job,
as
I
well
think, at
that
playing
because
off
a
of
lot of this gold has
PBM
come
and
from
Fino
towers,
here.
this
I'm
gold
pretty sure PBM and
is
Fino are
ready
just
to be
making all the
claimed
shot
back
calls right
by the
now.
Pittsburgh Knights.
Maybe
A lot of the
Sam,
gold has
a
been
little bit
off
of
the
Sam
towers by minions
as well,
being pushed under. That's where the
with shot
damage
calling.
on the
Like, but
towers
those are the
came
3
from.
that are contributing, I think.
1,000 gold is from killing 2 tier 1 towers. They're worth 500 gold apiece for the whole team. So now you're in a position where Pittsburgh Knights, they win one fight after something like a Fury. Maybe they can catch up pretty quickly.
They're going to need to. It's fine. Okay, once again, looking for some pressure.
Hun was the perfect pick. Yeah, I mean, that's why I want to see PK with it.
Not going to get the kill, but
I wanted PK to take Humbots. I think it would have made their comp like almost impossible to deal with if they had Cthulhu and Humbots. But Ghost was smart. They took the Humbots.
All the momentum is in Ghost side. Paul steps up.
And until they get a full 5v5 going, double Cthulhu is just not that intimidating.
They've made mistake after mistake in this exact
3 people backing though, I think that's Oni. 3 people backing should be an Oni Fury for free, maybe? I mean, they're probably gonna beeline rush. Panda just back 2 though. I think they're just gonna try to burn this and 50-50 it.
They can't be lazy on their
Actually, kind of surprised they didn't look for that.
On the backside, and Pittsburgh Knights coming into a very important fight aren't behind by that much itemization. 3 items complete for everybody almost on the Pittsburgh Knights side. 3.5 items complete for Ghost. So this is an opportunity for, if I'm Ghost, I press tab, I look at the situation. If we wait another 800 to 1,100 gold, we'll be up of an item, whereas Pittsburgh Knights might get a tier 1 on theirs. I think you might be able to wait and play for a stronger power play than where they are now.
Still, it looks like Ghost would like to force the issue. So far, we've not had a real 5-on-5, have we? These have been picks that Ghost have been going their way. They have been out-rotating Knights in this early. This could be where PK can say, we can plant our flag here and maybe win a big one altogether.
Now, the big difference in itemization that I'm seeing is what you see out of Panda Cat. He's completed his chin size.
Huge.
And Balance Blade is only there for Zapman. The difference in DPS between those 2 hunters is going to be massive in this fight. So can Panda Cat leverage that?
AMC can be viable, just not right now. When tank meta and healer meta is a thing. This could be a really good fight. Paul finally transforms into Camazotz. This is what they needed, is just a full-on rundown.
But he's brought right back into the trouble. Cubo finds one. Kraken doesn't find anything. It's scary. He gets
oh my god, dude.
okay as always is writing
the Rom show.
Still alive as well, and maybe they can find a couple picks. But Twig left alone is gonna die under the mid-tier 1. It's a double for Cubo Fred.
That's not a bad trade for PK though.
To catch up to Scary D, but rolls in.
Wow.
Scary
Still not over.
Final K on the way. No blink for him, but no tower for Scary to protect him.
At the very least, Fine OK can keep the chase for a moment.
Wow. What a clown fiesta for the fights.
And they say, beat this. You know, we got a Cthulhu wall. We got Morrigan coming in. We got plenty of space to create. And that's exactly what they do. You can't peel Fred. He's up in the sky. The big difference is that Sam did not get his ultimate off before Scary was able to blink in. Scary doesn't have beads. He doesn't have Magi's. He doesn't have any of that. If Sam sees Scary, he's got to take the initiative. He's got to find that blink, fear no evil.
I agree.
Cthulhu, because if you let Scary get into your backline by blinking, Thornsing, and ulting right away, it's going to be very, very difficult to kill him. You either have to blink, fear no evil him, or you need to fear no evil off of his reaction, off the sound.
This is where Cthulhu starts to become a problem though.
He's got that abduct.
But I mean, I still think Fino is doing a great job on this Kokolin, salvaging these team fights.
After that fight.
Fino's, I think that's the thing. Fino has just had really solid target focus throughout this entire set. Same thing for PBM. I think PBM and Fino, by far, I've been super impressed, man, with their target focus throughout this entire set. Now, Amu's and Kama is huge damage. You tripping, Bloodbath. He just doesn't have a whole lot of mobility, and it's just a really big dive meta right now. It's just too easy to punish an AMC for the most part, which is why teams don't tend to gravitate towards him right now.
So if you're Ghost, maybe you don't lose by such a big margin.
We might see a resurgence of Amus and Cobb though in the future.
If you can stop
Oh man, dude.
Another big fight around this Oni Fury.
But Sam is going to be looking for Scary, and Scary's got to know that. Scary's going to try and blink Sam's blink the vast majority of the time, but I almost wonder...
Talking a lot, so the tonsillitis, my throat's getting a little irritated from talking so much over the past couple days.
And then Sam can just
I gotta be careful.
and drop the Fear No Weevil right on top of that abduct. If you can take Scary out of this fight entirely, I almost don't care how many ults it takes you. You're going to have a lot easier time, even with the Morrigan being another potential Cthulhu.
I mean, I feel like Scary's just about to blink here.
Down to about half.
Dude, they have to be careful though. They can't just let that go.
The Fury
Ghost got it. Neil died instantly.
Finally, he steps up and Scary is low
Big
as
Kraken.
well in the back, but
Fino
he
K's
gets
finally gonna
Fino
die
K
though.
and finds some revenge for the lane. Cubo from the back is diving Sam, who goes to the overhead smash.
I mean, scuffed, but you got it done.
Suddenly the Knights have found a 1-for-3. The team fight going easily to the Knights.
And Panda Cat and PBM, the only ones left standing. That's 2 fights in a row that it has not been close.
No,
for the Pittsburgh Knights.
I don't know that they get anything past the T2 though.
He ends up just not having enough damage in order to kill Scary. It forces Panda Cat to go up.
Jesus, dude, look at how scary this is.
Take him out, but that's more time that Panda's not on the ground dealing that.
I mean, losing the Oni Fury though definitely sucks.
Have really been able to make these team fights work because they've targeted.
Oh wow, they're just gonna go for it.
So
yeah.
This is where the punishment comes from.
Yeah, this is what they needed. But they don't have a big burst on it. Fino doesn't have TP though, so it's gonna take them a while to get here. They need Paul though, but Paul's looking for a kill. How you feel about Paul here? They're sticking it. Oh my god, dude, Mike's about to die.
As is Panda Cat. Panda Cat's beads are down. That's it. I think Fury is going the way of PK.
Yeah, the fire, the biggest objective on the map, going to the Knights. This team believed after every step of the way in their team fight in the late game when they.
This set is getting so good.
And right now,
holy
in the
shit!
Moment it's showing up.
Again, it's the early game for Ghost. It's the early game for Ghost and Pittsburgh Knights.
They can't afford to get picked right now.
We'll be okay. Just wait a little.
I think they're about to hunt Paul.
Down and wait until we start to group up. This team looks immortal when it comes to these team fights. They are making it work.
Yo, did you see how much damage Kuzumbo got off on Reflect before he died?
And that's been a huge deal because if you let
no, why?
really
I was just curious. I didn't see how much damage Reflect he did before he died that last fight. I wasn't sure if it made an impact or not.
It's just hard to see whenever he's up in that ult. He's got so much going on around him, all the effects. It's hard to keep track of where the Morrigan could be coming from. And if Paul's able to get one rotation of skills off and then transform, he's been transforming more.
This is big though. Break-even game.
It's not gonna be
except Morrigan comp with Cthulhu gets fire giant.
It's been this backline DPS from Ghost has been so split up, which is oftentimes what you want to do against Cthulhu. You want to make him choose. Don't let him do what Fino K did to the Pittsburgh Knights last game, where he's able to single-handedly push all of your backline out. But
damn, he's already grabbing a Shield of Thorns upgrade before even finishing Void Shield. That's disgusting.
Making PBM's job harder because he's got to choose which backliner to save.
This game is virtually even though. The big difference is the Fire Giant for the Knights. So I like this. Ghost don't want to give up much. I mean, you obviously don't want to take a big fight over the Tier 1, but these Tier 2s, where a lot of the money comes from, I think Ghost are going to have to make a stand.
And this is where the fact that Ghost got a lot of their early gold lead from towers ends up making this lead start to dematerialize more.
Oh my god, imagine if that catches Zapman's freaking dash.
Same gold. The Knights are now getting the gold, even experience.
Zap's playing with fire here. Holy shit.
18,
yeah, that man needs some levels.
Whereas the Knights have a big advantage. 20 to 17.
Zap or Neil?
Neil.
Yeah. Well, Neil will get the levels on the siege. He's gonna get plenty of farm here. Or at least he should. Shit. Once he gets that pride win too, he's gonna be so annoying to deal with.
Won these team fights, split up the back line, and let your dive composition go to work. And if Paul can find a way to get in between these towers, just float in between, there is no deep ward coverage where Panda Cat's standing.
Honestly, I hope he just doesn't do Scary's dead. Oh, that's so big.
They get rid of Scary early, and Ghost Gaming send the Knights packing.
Exactly what Ghost needed to do, and now you got to worry about.
I mean, they could still have another Cthulhu ult.
launch.
There it is. He finds Neil Ma for the knockout. Root not there. Neil gets out with the ultimate, but Ghost Gaming cannot overreact.
Another game
All
delay,
yes,
though.
They take down this mid-tier 1, but if they overstep,
Scary, you
the
just
Knights
trolled
every
that so
step of the
hard,
way
thinking
have
that they
taken
wouldn't full
something
commit.
from them.
Exactly. 3 ultimates still up for PK.
Yep.
4 members still with Fire Giant. You can't disrespect them. I like this call. I don't think PK can afford to step up to a 1 health tier 2 tower.
Look at those pings.
Yeah, look at the pings. They're going to go left and try and prioritize the tier 2 where the wave is.
I don't
here
think
on the
Ghost
duo
knows,
side.
though, so they're not going to bother pushing for
Like you said,
Phoenix.
they cannot contest and right.
Yep.
No, I don't work for Hires anymore, Joe. I'm with a new talent agency. Just waiting for the pandemic to be over, essentially, so I can go back to doing esports commentary.
Paul does have Polynomicon, so that boosts your tower killing by a lot as a mage, but still won't be enough. A huge play there from Sam, and you see Scary start to work on a Mantle of Discord. That's going to stop that 100-0 chain CC potential from happening, because you'll get cleansed whenever you hit that threshold, but still you're going to be 40%
Paul does have
HP
Polymori online, though.
in a bad spot after the fact, so I wonder if a Magi's is even the call, but Magi's doesn't feel that good up against something like a ranged root from Cap.
That's right, it can get taken away at any time easily by Ghost. As a great call, really, from the Knights to take that Primal. That is not nothing here at this point in the game. I know maybe the gold itself and experience, not the biggest deal, but making that Fire Giant easier for them is going to be key. Always going to be hard for them to take it if Twig's up with that Kraken, but this is going to be
And not a lot of pen here for Captain
I went to
Twig. The build,
college
he's got
for
10%
criminology, so
coming
like
from
it
that
literally
buyback
does
piece. He
nothing
goes with
for
the
anything
E-Staff
esports
instead of
related.
something like the Soul Reaver. Now we see this a lot in mage builds these days because they fill similar
Like,
roles. It's just that
I would
E-Staff
literally need to
gives
go
you
back
more
for
tanky stats,
a master's
and the proc
for it to
is
be
true
useful for
damage
anything other than being
instead of
like a
affected
school teacher
by mitigations
or a
and
police
protections
officer.
and things
Both
like
professions that
But it also
I'm not
happens less
interested in.
frequently. I think Twig really needs both. I think he needs E-Staff and Soul Reaver in order to take down this Cthulhu, but he also needs a 20% pen option with the build, and as smart as the Height of the Urchin
I'm not
is,
surprised that Zap is
knowing
lower
you're
damage
gonna
than
get
Mike.
dove against a
I mean,
dive
he has to play so
composition,
passive. He has to
and
play
that
so
Paul can
careful.
transform
He
into
literally
a
has to, like,
physical god if you build magic
pray
defense,
that
or
Final
a
K doesn't
magical
find
god
him.
if you build physical defense.
Like, a
The Urchin
colon
makes
just
a ton
does
of
so much
sense,
damage and is so
but
tanky.
I don't know if he's going to have enough DPS to take down this Cthulhu when they really need him to. He's going to need to get to true 6 items with a Chaos
Not bad from
coin
Fred.
or
He's
an
gonna heal.
Obsidian Shard and a Soul Reaver before I think
Yeah,
he
he's gonna
really
get a full heal
poses
anyway,
a
but-
significant threat to Scary.
Want to go for
27
criminology
minutes
then?
in, we
Because
approach
it was well
some of
before
the
I was
biggest
ever
moments
interested
we
in
have seen
esports.
all year. This
Esports
is
wasn't
what
a
these two
thing
teams have fought
back
for
in like
since they met
2014.
last time, right? I mean, these
Esports didn't
are the
start really
exact
being
same
a thing
squads
until
that
like
battled. Already
2016.
Ghost
Like
doing a bit
by
better, right?
2016,
Taking this to
esports had
5,
become a career
as
for
opposed
me.
to the 3-1 they lost last year. And you know these boys would love to get a win here. Prove they could do it once more with this version of the roster. This Fire Giant fight.
Bloodbath, can you
is
not
gonna
be
key
the edgy
with
guy
Knights
that just wants to type
actually established
KKK
that
in a
they
Twitch
have
chat?
vision
Just
around it.
please.
Ghost
It's
are gonna have to
really
push it.
cringy,
And
dude,
when
and
you
nobody
have
cares.
Morgan on your side, getting that
Come
vision
on,
control
be better.
is crucial because
Yes.
it lets her know
Kukulkan's not even
where
in this
she can
game.
start her transformation. Or
Like,
start
there's
her
really no
stealth.
reason to
That's
put
the big thing
KKK
the
for
Morgan. You
Kukulkan.
can get past wards once you're stealthed, but the further up you've got sentries means the more options that you have in order to get to the backline. And the same goes for Ghost. You have to know as a backliner, okay, our furthest up sentry is right next to back harpies. That means that in this 5 or 6
Oh, both of
seconds
these
that
teams have
Morgan has
100%
in
made
that
mistakes
stealth, she can get
throughout
to me
this
all
game.
the way at blue buff.
100%. It's hard
I've
not
gotta
to
be
make
hugging
mistakes,
more
I think,
right
in this kind of
than
environment.
left
It's really
side, or else she's
stress-inducing.
gonna have an easy time getting to me. It really changes the dynamic of your positioning as a backliner and even as a frontliner when you know how far these sentries are up.
Make life easier.
Like, I would be more impressed if neither side made a mistake. Like, I feel like that's impossible to do at this level of play. There's always going to be something that's hindsight 2020. You just have to remember that, like, we're watching this from an unfair perspective. Top-down perspective, you see so much more. So much more is opened up in a top-down perspective. Oh, oh, oh. I mean, they could crack it. Wow, Paul diff. Look at Neil.
Good poke on a
Neil's just
Neil
so
Ma, though, is worth
behind.
almost as much as that Pyromancer. It
He
does
needs to
matter,
eat those
though,
cookies.
because on those fights where you get low and have to reset back up, having that Pyro buff coming out of base ends up being a big deal. It also makes it easier for you to reset and rebuy.
No, that was a
wards,
good
which is
steal from
huge
Paul.
part of
Dude,
Fire
Twig's
Giant's
pretty
dances.
tanky,
You wanna
too.
be able to secure your back line.
They just need a
with
full
those
commit
sentries, make sure that they have
Sam
no
or
more
Panda.
coverage there,
Full commit
and
Sam
then
or
go
Panda
back to
Cat
base,
here.
5
That's
more
it.
sentries, and move them up a line.
That's the
And
only
then go
way
back
this
to
game
base
ends
and
well.
Move those up a line, and that's how you really start to dominate.
The other thing too
a
that's really
neutral
stressful
objective
for
like
these
Fire
teams though
Giant.
is
You
that
see
like
5
it's
sentries
not
on
even
the
so
board
much about the
right
Fire
here
Giant
for the
anymore.
Pittsburgh
Like
Knights. One on the backside of Fire, one
it's about to be, not only is it about to be pools for enhanced FG, which is like super hard to do, especially when neither carry can even rely on crit for fast like objective burn, but you also have to factor in that at this time in the game, 2-3 deaths, I think 2 deaths is like a Phoenix with the respawn timers, and you're also running the risk of getting your respawns heavily staggered. 3 deaths or more, and that's probably GG with the respawn timers currently in game. Like, that's what's even more insane to think about. So we're about to see some enhanced FG dances, I think. I think we're really about to see some enhanced FG dances. I also want to see Paul transform into Humbots one time. One time for the one time.
Got to be able to leverage an ability to step up a bit further. So Fire is the start, but now the Knights are kind of flanking around, enveloping Ghost, and recognizing that Ghost back up so they don't get flanked.
And this is perfect.
Damn,
now
dude.
Ghost is just giving up
They're so
control of
scared.
the Fire Giant pit. We get instant control there.
I don't
Zap's been
blame
able
him
to do good
though.
work on this left-hand
Like,
side.
I
It
don't
looks
think
like he
Ghost can
wants to
afford to
actually stick
pull.
around
They have to force
potentially,
PK onto
and
it
solo out this
first.
Oni Fury, given the opportunity to give even more map pressure over to the Pittsburgh
Zap needs
Knights.
help.
Look at this.
Ghost
Mike
wants Oni too.
recognizing it, rotates over, but Mike is the one on a ward.
Yeah.
Knights have
Zap
the
might get away with
information.
this just because of that. But
Support's
there is a
not around.
bottom
They are
side
on
ward,
the hunt.
so they don't
Cubo
know.
coming in underneath, looking for Mike. Mike takes the seat.
Cubo should go help Zap though, so they can just like fast confirm this.
Oni Fury gonna
'Cause they're gonna
belong to
know.
the Knights, unless
Cubo's gonna
Mike
be
can
able
get
to
there
pod it
quickly.
out.
This is such a big value here in the late game to force the spread on the map.
Oh,
Now
this
Fight
is
gonna
good.
start here in the jungle. Cubo Fred has to ult. He goes.
He got him
for Twig,
separated.
Who is getting chunked. Paul
Dude.
on the way, and Twig
Dude,
gets the lead.
that's
The
so
Knights
big.
make a huge play in the
Paul
late
has to
game,
get
but
out,
Panda
though.
Cat Snipes can't all connect, but they've got
Wow,
Neo Malo.
he's actually gonna
Cubo
get out.
Fred using the ultimate, trying to spread this fight out a bit, but now Ghost underneath the
Holy
watchful gaze
shit.
of the Knights. Zapman
Fucking
gets body
Cthulhu.
okay. Polar
Or,
Bear
not
has to
Cthulhu.
ult himself, and the
Goddamn
Knights
Cthulhu.
right on the precipice
I might
of
be
putting
game.
this one to bed. Only
Is that
two
game?
for Ghost.
That's game.
Still standing.
Who
That's definitely a
cares about
Phoenix.
enhanced Fire Giant? We've got Phoenix on
I think
the
that
menu
might
for the
actually be
Pittsburgh
Worlds.
Knights. Only
This could
two
be the
left
game.
standing, no
Panda
ults.
Cat and Sam
think
have to
you
play
go
this
for
so
the end here,
perfectly with
Finch.
no ult.
This is such a big
They
moment.
can't even do
Sam
anything to
and Panda
defend.
Cat with no ultimate
Oh my
to help
god, dude.
defend.
Zapman
We
just
got
won
a lot of
Worlds
attention,
again.
still a lot of towers up, so this Titan is healthy, but in comes Scary D, and Panda Cat and Sam have to make the play. The Titan now down to about half HP, but
Oh
Sam
my god,
gets
they can't
one.
do it.
Ghost Gaming
Wow.
hold on in a final moment.
Oh no!
And though it's
Sam
gonna
might have just
be
trolled.
Cubo Fred is gonna try and make a
Fred?
Sam lives with a sliver
Dude,
of
no.
HP, 25
Cubo's gotta
HP
finish
and
that
green
there.
for the jungler for
He
Ghost
panicked
Gaming.
off.
Ghost not going home
Cubo
quite yet.
definitely should have finished that.
And the Knights done quite a bit of work opening up this middle Phoenix, giving themselves a win condition here in this late game. Ghost are getting caught spread around the map here, aggro.
Yeah.
They are not matching the way the Knights are moving.
And that's what the Knights have done to every team they played against.
Yeah.
They've just played the map better so far. But Twig cannot be there, number one. He dies with both relics up, Finch.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a cardinal sin at this point.
Whew.
I
I wonder if Twig's gonna say something.
They're burning it.
For the Oni Fury instead,
Uh-oh.
and this is 3 DPS members
Uh-oh.
of the EFG.
They
This
stop
is bad.
attacking. This
Yep.
is huge. Ghost Gaming are going to be able to secure
Twig's
this
return,
Fire Giant.
yeah.
This is
Wow.
huge. I know they lost in the middle Phoenix, but Ghost
This shit is
had to
crazy.
brute
This is
force
so
their way
fucking
back in.
crazy.
And
How
that's
does
credit
PK
to
let
Panda
that
Cat,
go?
Because Panda Cat stopped Cubo Fred's back as he was trying to back in the speed buff. He rolled forward, put an arrow through that wall, forced Fred to blink out, really delayed the back timing from the Pittsburgh Knights. And this is one of the first real misplays we've seen macro-wise from PK, is not being there to defend that enhanced Fire Giant. Though I don't know if they could have. It would have been just those frontliners
No
trying
way.
to step up
Are they gonna look for a
and
fight,
stop
really?
Ghost Gaming from doing it.
They can't.
The real mistake was going for the end. Too many towers up, Titan too tanky, and too much damage coming from Sam and Panda Cat.
But that's two traded haymakers, isn't it? Big fight for Knights
Yep.
in the mid, taking down the mid Phoenix, and then the return gut punch from Ghost as they come back and grab this fire. My goodness, is this set coming down to the big moment here, aggro. Ghost Gaming now get to make a bit of a push of their own. They're starting in mid, obviously, though, trying to push up those fire minions.
This is where you got to start, and this is where you have to do a good job as well of pushing these side lanes, because you don't want to get caught in a position where you can't quite end, but you can't quite guarantee the end either by taking out Phoenix as you otherwise normally could have. So I would rather see Ghost be doing a little bit better job pushing out left.
Yeah, I'm with the underdogs too, Fango, but this has been a sick set from both teams. This has been a really good World set all around. I'm really satisfied with how Worlds has gone down this year. I think this might be one of the most competitive Worlds we've ever seen, too. It's definitely more competitive than last year's. I feel like this is way more back and forth. Granted, I think both teams are making a lot more mistakes than what we've seen traditionally on the world stage, but it's still been really good.
A little under 2.5 minutes here for Ghost to work with on this fire, close to 220.
Which team is the underdog? Believe it or not, the former world champion squad with Cuvo. It's literally the former world champ squad plus Cuvo.
Again, being a bit of a solo agent, one of that red,
but
good heads up play from
Ghost don't.
To strip that off.
I mean, Ghost got like 2 minutes to make this fire giant matter.
Ghost can start trying to make a play.
As long as PK don't wipe here, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Down mid. They do not have a wave coming. Waves are pushing in PK's favor on the right and left-hand side, so there is no other place to go. There's no feints.
I love this from Paul.
Available to them. They're stepping
but
up,
Paul knows it. They're definitely watching.
They've got some ward vision in the jungle. That's going to help with Paul. But
yeah, you think they're really scared to try and push that? I think they want to pick.
And maybe it's a little bit too one-note.
I guarantee you, all 10 of their heart rates are like 200
insane.
plus.
Yeah, they're all so jittery.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this. I mean, Sam's backing.
This is literally like one bad team fight away.
Now Sam is going to be convinced to stick around, it feels like.
It's just so bad that they all backed at the same time and let that enhanced fatigue go for free. About a minute 15 left on it, though.
A lot of discussion happening. Ends up being the people who want to push winning.
Twig steps up the furthest, looking for poke. Everyone knows in the mid, and Paul looking to flank around the side.
I feel like it's going to be so hard, though, for Rom to get close to the Phoenix with Kakolin.
If they're going to take down this mid Phoenix
or
now,
with
If
Cthulhu.
they could, they step in. Phoenix getting poked a bit, but nothing serious is scary.
And Zap still has
over the wall.
Keep an eye on Paul. Now they have the sentry in the jungle. Does nothing for Ghost Gaming. Paul's sentry is the one that matters because he can easily cover this amount of distance in the stealth. This is exactly what he did to Radiance in this exact same spot.
This is so.
Someone's got to be ready. Paul moving in. This is a commit. No, he backs up at the last moment. No one will know. So Paul can do that. He can step up.
That's so crazy. What even is Morgan?
Paul's not even doing anything.
So they're pushing in. Cuba Fred low already. He is forced to retreat. Fear no evil.
I mean, Zap's gonna be dead. Zap's dead.
Keeps him alive for the moment, but
this might be game.
Gets the ADC. Mid Phoenix down as well, and Ghost continue the onslaught. Barely Paul makes out of trouble. But
I don't know, man. This doesn't look too hot for them.
They've done their job.
There's no way. They're just gonna leave that.
Bro. Cannot happen in this moment. Are Ghosts sticking around to try and
Zap just looked like he didn't even realize it. Yeah, they're going for it.
Scary is the target. Kraken lands. And Scary finally
oh my god, dude.
But he is low. So is Spino K in the back though. Ghost must be careful, but Sam.
Wow, dude. Paul really got out of that.
Connecting Ghost. Continue to be patient. They forced
all right, I gotta pee.
But they don't have a lot left in the tank.
They're gonna leave.
Scarab's blessing and Zap's up in 30. They decide they've had enough. No fire wave coming.
Wow. That enhanced FG. That was it. That was the difference maker. Legit, if PK
looking pretty strong.
If PK don't let Ghost get that enhanced FG, none of that ever happens. Who did Paul turn into? Paul turned into Camazotz. But I'm telling you guys right now, that was such a heavy misplay from PK, letting that enhanced FG go. Fortunately, it's the mid Phoenix, so it's like you can definitely still defend mid, still defend enhanced FG. But I think this next team fight is even more awkward for PK, because if they don't win this team fight, like, very convincingly, I don't know, man. This is literally just anybody's game at this point. Zap's been the weakest link. I can agree with that. I think both Zap and Kivo have had a rough time here. I don't know. If they just let this go for free, they're so screwed. They have to fight here. This is where the fight matters most. If this enhanced FG, if they just let this go down, they're not going to be in a good spot. Paul has, like, the weight of the world on his shoulders right now.
Question is, can Fine make that same play? He walked in soloed Zapman. It was Panda Cat snipes that helped, but Fine really forced Zap
Nah,
to
all of
not
PK
play
shouldn't have backed
that
at
last
once.
team fight.
They should have had
And that was
somebody
a
trying to
team fight win without a
EFG.
good Fear No Evil
Ghost might
coming
win?
from Sam either.
I
That didn't
mean,
get a whole lot of
this
purchase.
is looking good
Love
for
Sam's
Ghost,
positioning
not gonna
here. He's
lie.
gonna have to clear this wave, but that gives him a lot
It's looking
of
real good
space
for Ghost.
there on that right-hand side to be able to blink in.
But how many times has PK been here before? You know?
Potentially get clipped and have
It's
that
just
blink
it's just
not
a tough
available.
FG to
Ghosts
pull.
are right on the edge of starting up this fire.
Cubo or Paul has to find Panda Cat in the back. They've got to kill Panda or Twig again. If they kill Panda or Twig, that's it.
Two red buffs, one on Sam, one on Twig.
They're trying to let EFG do a lot of the dirty work for them, but they can't let it get too low because then they just get a free confirm with Kraken. But if they use Kraken for EFG, I do see Pittsburgh trying to collapse for the fight.
Fire Giant's really doing a number on these health bars. Even just a little bit of poke damage matters a lot. And PK is doing a great job of keeping these mid-wave pushed. No defensive ward backside here for Ghost Gaming.
Dude, they're going to get that
mid,
Phoenix
so
back
very
up.
easy for Paul or
If they can get that Phoenix back up, like, this is where it sucks for Ghost, is that, like, there's just not enough time.
Start to move a little bit towards mid.
There's really just not enough time to push out the waves and to pull the EFG. They need their whole team for the EFG pool.
Pushing all the way back.
And PK know it. That's the problem with it being the mid Phoenix as opposed to left Phoenix.
Yeah, he's grabbing red buff. This is what this team has done a lot this year. Give speed
like,
over to Twig.
they're gonna get their Phoenix back. This is still anybody's game. Oh,
Literally
it's still anybody's game.
True one-shot potential.
But that Phoenix is coming right back up, no problem.
I think he's looking to see if someone's coming to push this left-hand side, maybe catch someone going for their own red buff or purple.
Ooh.
He might
Here it
catch
is.
Paul.
What a fight.
Here it is, dude.
Sam and Paul meet here in the jungle. Sam has found the beads. Pre-beads are necessary, but Paul is forced to ult early. That is a huge trade. Fear No Evil for Changeling.
Yeah, but you get Blink and Fear No Evil from Paul, or from Sam,
Paul's
rather.
beads?
Paul's beads are a big deal, but without Fear No Evil, that's really the main tool. The big deal is getting the Changeling, I think, because now it makes it very hard for Paul to get into the back line and actually make an impact.
Yeah, I think Ghosts are going to want to press this fight even without that Fear No Evil. Cubo, Fred, and Sam.
I think Paul didn't know that it was just Sam by himself. Yeah, they're about to steal it way too early on that Kraken. Holy shit, dude, these fights. Look at Zap. What is Zap doing, dude? Zap's crazy, dude. His team's gonna carry the fight. Oh my god, dude. Look at that mid Phoenix. Yeah, that's it. Oh no, Zap can't die. Dude, Neilmon can just chase him forever. P fucking K. Run, Neil.
But the rest of Knights are pushing down mid. Unfiltered, unstopped. Final
I
K
mean,
taking his back.
who knows, dude? Maybe Final K defense, but they have a full wave.
Burn down the middle, Phoenix. The
And he has
Knights
no
looking to
thorns.
push into the Titan, and Final K has it all to do.
He's got no ultimate available. Paul with the transformation.
Oh my god, let's go! Let's go, baby! PK all day! That's what I wanted to see. That's what I called. Game 5 at that. Whole squad DMs knows I called that shit. Whole squad DMs.
You want to talk about mentally strong? There is no one in the history of Smite more clutch, more mentally strong than this Pittsburgh Knights core. Back-to-back champions once again here in Smite.
And you have